Everyone, remain calm.
Yeah, that's how it always starts. And later there's running and screaming.
Somebody talk to me! What is happening?
Welcome to Jurassic World.
You're listening to the Jurassic Park Podcast.
You want to consult here or in my bungalow? Hold on to your butts.
Well, we're back.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the 162nd episode of the Jurassic Park Podcast. I'm your host, Brad Jost, and we're here to discuss all things Jurassic Park. In this episode, we're going to jump into the Innovation Center and hear from Tom Fishenden and his recent journey to meet Sam Neill, Dr. Alan Grant himself. I am super jealous that Tom got to meet Sam, so we're going to hear that audio. I can't wait for you to check it out. After that, we're going to present our monthly Jurassic Mailbag with none other than Jennifer Terek for the month of August. As usual, we have so much to cover. It was an absolutely incredible recording. You guys sent in so much audio this week, MP3s, voicemails, emails, all kinds of stuff. I actually couldn't cover it all. It was actually a little bit too much. So just a warning, if I didn't get to yours, we will get to it. We will eventually cover your stuff. Maybe not this month, but we will get to it. And also a note, if you guys are sending in your voicemails by calling our voicemail line, try to keep them to one recording, which actually equates to 3 minutes of audio time. So I know a lot of people try to call in many times, which is fine. I don't mind, but it does not allow for everybody to get on the episode. So if you guys do want to call in, try to leave it to one voicemail, 3 minutes of airtime. So just keep that in mind when you guys are calling in. That's 3 minutes of airtime. So, just in case you want to be part of the next mailbag, you can call our voicemail line at 732-825-7763. You can email us audio files or questions at JurassicParkPod@gmail.com, or head to our contact page at JurassicParkPodcast.com to fill out our contact form. Even though you're just about to listen to this month's episode, we are already collecting questions for the next mailbag. Alright, so before we get this episode started, I do have a few plugs to get underway over on our YouTube channel, so make sure to head to YouTube, find the Jurassic Park Podcast. We're doing a ton of stuff over there. Actually, we have a bunch of reviews and different things. So last week, we actually Tom Fishenden did a review of the Spinosaurus from Mattel, also the Herrerasaurus, which was really cool. I took a look at the Rad's toy candy dispensers, which were pretty funny, and then I also did a video, like a store hunt, finding the Proceratosaurus, the Min-Me, and the Stiggy Story Pack. So make sure to check that out over on our YouTube channel. Next week, we actually have a ton of stuff coming your way. We have a look at the submarine from Matchbox, a haul video from the last month where I take a look at all the different items that I collected over the last month, and we're also going to take a look at the Proceratosaurus, the Min-Me, and I was going to include this story pack. Maybe we'll look at that, maybe we won't. I know Aaron Beyer already looked at that maybe last week or so make sure to check that one out. So that's what we got going on over on YouTube next week, or this week, I guess, as you're listening to this. Alright, so enough about all that. We're going to jump into the Innovation Center with Tom Fishenden and hear about his thoughts on meeting Sam Neill.
If I don't innovate, somebody else will.
Due to technical difficulties, all our exhibits are now closed.
You are acting like we are engaged in some kind of mad science.
And Zara here is going to take great care of you until I'm done working tonight, okay?
Bigger, scarier, cooler, I believe is the word that you use in your memo.
Any incidents?
Yeah, 6 kids in the lost and found, 28 down with heat stroke.
All of this exists because of me.
Just like taking a stroll through the woods 65 million years ago.
Hey everybody, I hope you are doing absolutely fantastic today. It is Tom checking back in very, very quickly with you guys. I just wanted to very briefly touch on the absolutely fantastic Jurassic experience that I had at London Film and Comic Con this past weekend. So the date today is the 29th of July. And I went to London Film and Comic Con at Olympia in Kensington in London today, and it was absolutely fantastic. So I'm not a big fan of London Film and Comic Con. I feel like it's a lot more commercialised than MCM, which we've covered previously here on the podcast. And generally it's a lot more about merchandise and paid photo ops, paid opportunities, really everything to do with kind of making money, as opposed to, I don't know, just more experiences and stuff like that you have at MCM. But that all said and done, I had an absolutely fab time because I got to hang out with some really, really cool people. I got to meet Sam again. Don't really know why I struggled with your name, Sam. If you are listening to this, then that was just really weird, but there you go. That is how we roll here on the Jurassic Park podcast, of course. But yeah, some of you guys may know Sam as Sam H Model over on Twitter, and Sam is actually a really big Jurassic Park fan and just a really nice person in general, so it was really nice getting to catch up with her. Seeing her again was fab. I got to see Paul Elder and Jenny Wood, two very big people here in the UK Jurassic community. Paul and Jenny actually were some of the winners in the Jurassic Park Recreate competition, which Universal ran for the 25th anniversary. So it was really cool getting to hang out with them. And they always have a super level of attention to detail with their costumes. They came as Alan and Ellie, and it was absolutely just, you know, really nice getting to see them again, getting to say hi, getting to chat to them. There was a guy called Jason who cosplays Dodgson. It was really cool seeing him again as well. And also another person whose name I didn't get to catch, who was hanging out with us, who was cosplaying as Nedry as well. So it was really, really cool seeing all these different people coming along and, you know, embracing Jurassic, getting Jurassic on show for the London Film and Comic Con crowds. There was a fair few things to do there. Like I said, obviously most of it was merchandise and making money, but one of the things that stood out to me was Amazon Prime's stall for Jack Ryan. They had like a virtual shooting range and a bunch of other things that you got to do, which was really, really cool. And it was definitely just a great addition in... trying to think how to phrase things. My brain is really not working, and you understand in a minute why I'm in such a state right now. Because basically... the highlight, the big Jurassic event, if you like, London Film and Comic Con, and the entire reason that I went was the fact that I got to meet none other than Dr. Alan Grant, also known as the absolutely amazing Mr. Sam Neill. Now, this was a really, really special experience for me. I'm not sure whether Sam will come back to the UK for another convention or not, and I was really umming and ahhing. Any of you guys who follow me on Twitter or are friends with me on Facebook will know I actually was asking people for help and advice. I really couldn't decide to go, because it was £65, which is a lot of money for a photograph with someone. So I really could not, you know, for the life of me come to that decision. I had loads of wonderful people like Stephen Ray Morris, Clayton Fioriti, so many others really telling me I should go for it and I should just do it. And I did. I spent a lot of money. I basically spent £65 on the photo, £20 on entry to the event, and £14 on travel just to meet Sam Neill. That was my main focus of the day, and honestly, it was worth it. It's an incredibly special experience when you see somebody you look up to in person and you actually get to meet them, say hello, let them know you really like their work. And it was just very, very surreal and very special getting to meet Alan Grant. Now, I know for a lot of you American listeners, you guys have had Jeff Goldblum at a couple of conventions recently, so, you know, really cool getting to meet Ian Malcolm. But Sam doesn't really seem to do as many conventions, or at least I don't see him at as many. So it was really, really a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, I suppose, to get to meet Sam. And it was really rather special, and I'm really glad that I actually made the effort to go. So that was a lot of fun. It has made my 2018, you know. I can now say I've met Sam Neill. How many people can say that? And yeah, it was just a really good day. So guys, that's really it for this quick little piece of the Innovation Centre. Not an in-depth episode, I just wanted to share kind of an explosion of excitement with you guys, because, why not? But if you're on the edge about doing anything Jurassic related, I recommend you do it, because I know if I had not done today, I would be sitting here really upset, filled with regret right now. I was really sad actually when I didn't do the midnight showing of Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom like I planned, but going ahead and actually doing it, it's been a fantastic day, a once in a lifetime opportunity, and something that will definitely stick with me for years to come. So if you can, guys, if you are planning any conventions this summer, if you're going to any Jurassic events, like we've got dinosaurs in, not in the wild, I've done that is still going on, but we have got Walking with Dinosaurs coming up in the UK, so if you are considering maybe going to see that, for example, just book it, just go for it, why not, you live life once, and you might as well live life loving dinosaurs. So, guys, this has been an incredibly disjointed, an incredibly manic, and an incredibly, I suppose, excitement-filled segment of the Innovation Centre. I hope you're all doing well, and you have enjoyed listening to today's episode, and hopefully I'll be back with more innovation sections. Blah, there we go. It is still not going well, but I'm still doing it. We're rolling with it, guys. We're going with it. Hopefully I'll be back for more Innovation Centre segments soon. There we go. Take care, guys. Catch you in the next one.
Jurassic Mailbag. Jurassic Mailbag never fails. It makes me wag my dino tails. And Brad and Jen, your Jurassic Mail. It's Jurassic Mailbag with Brad Jost and Jennifer Terek.
We're back for the August Jurassic Mailbag. I'm Brad Jost, here with my co-host for this segment, Jennifer Terek. How you doing?
Hi.
It's
You know what? I feel like we should play this game, because I'm always eating something every time we do this. I feel like we should play a game of what am I eating
Oh, God. Podcasting 101. Don't eat.
I'm a professional.
I think somebody wondered that one maybe it was last month or the month before. They're like, was somebody eating? And I was like, I don't think so. Not that I know of, but now we know who it was.
I am eating on every single podcast, just so people know that.
So professional over here. You know how it is. This is the mailbag. It's ridiculous. It took us 45 minutes. It took us way too long to get us started. And then it goes, like you're saying, way too long.
So I need a snack.
So.
Oh my goodness, wait. It's What's My Snack?
What's my snack? I feel like there was some little song with it too.
Uh-huh. That's what I'm doing every single month. I'm doing the What's My Snack.
It really is. It does sound just like that. I feel like we haven't heard one of those in a long time. It's been a while.
I know. I miss them. I want a shirt that says that.
There's got to be a shirt. Somebody probably makes it, right? I would assume.
I would assume. I mean, if someone wants to send me a shirt, I'll send you my address. Send me a shirt.
Guys, this is the call out. Send Jen a What's My Snack shirt. Get it made. Spend $15? Just send it her way. And hopefully you'll get 10 shirts.
This is what I do on the podcast. I use it to eat and get stuff from people.
Of course. What are podcasts for other than that?
Mm-hmm.
We're not about talking about voicemails and emails. No, those are for weird podcasts. Who does that?
No, I'm professional and I ask for stuff while I eat snacks.
Well, last month was a pretty crazy mailbag. We talked for nearly 3 hours, I believe, and people apparently listened somehow.
Wow.
And we're off to a great start for August.
I'm ready. I mean, we said August. August, we know how to say August, so we're already...
August, yeah. It's pretty straightforward, I think. Yeah. So we did get a ton of stuff, again, because you guys are crazy. You send in so much stuff each and every month. And a lot of stuff actually was carryover from, it was just like too late for us to add it to the episode last time, or so one of them was actually supposed to be for a different episode. So it's all over the place this week or month, I guess. And you guys, here's I don't know. We might have to like narrow it down. We were talking about this before we started. We love hearing from you guys, but keep it to like maybe the one voicemail if you could. Because so many people are calling it. I want to make sure that everybody gets a chance to talk, because so many of you did. And this episode, I'm like, well, I don't know if we're going to be able to get to everybody. Some people have been waiting for months to get on here, and I feel bad. So just try to keep it light, keep it easy. I know some of you have a lot of thoughts, and maybe we got to come up with something else. I don't know. Do you think we should like do some like spin-off segment of the mailbag? I have no idea. Like, would people be open to just hearing like a string of voicemails at the end of an episode, like after the credits? Or because I've heard podcasts that do that before, where the episode's basically done, but then there's like 2 or 3 voicemails at the very end to kind of lead you out of the episode, or just have a segment in the podcast that's just voicemails. Me or you don't even comment on it.
Well, there's that option, or I guess the PSA would be keep it at 3 minutes, or we'll have to do something like that.
That's the PSA. PSA, if you don't want an episode that's 3 hours long, keep it to 3 minutes. I mean, was that right? I don't know. Who knows? You know what I mean?
And I mean, you can really get your question and comment in 3 minutes, I would think.
But then again, we did respond to Amy's voicemail last month. It was one question for 45 minutes.
We are professional podcasters. It's fine. My
mind was blown when I was like, wait a minute. We've been recording for 45 minutes off of the final question of the day. What happened? That doesn't happen on other podcasts.
That was a big question, though.
It was. I don't even remember what it was at this point, but
it was
I'm
about
sure it was
like
epic.
Character development. When you bring up a character development question, gee,
that's what happens. Yeah, I wonder if anybody's going to bring that up today. Whoa, Griffin, geez, man, it's coughing underneath me. Okay, we're off to a great start. So this is the mailbag. Let's get it started with a voicemail that was supposed to be included in the Evolution of Claire discussion. We had reached out to everybody to send in some stuff, and only Stephen Ray Morris responded. So a few of you reached out like on social media, Facebook, Twitter, and all that, but nobody called except for Stephen. So let's take a listen to Stephen's voicemail here.
From
cool. I'm so great at starting voicemails from the beginning. So Stephen runs a very professional podcast. This, on the other hand, is not. So, Stephen, let's take it away.
Hey, JPP. It's Stephen Ray Morris from See Jurassic Right, and I wanted to call and say my opinion of the evolution of Claire. I think it was such a wonderful, fun look into the mind of Claire Dearing, learning the history of this character and really feeling like, it feels almost essential after seeing Fallen Kingdom you feel like you're getting the first piece of this arc that's happening in the films. And I think for, people who want to see really positive images of, kids doing science and, going on an adventure, it feels very Scooby-Doo to me for some reason in a good way. And, also, I think if you, want to learn that lore that we so desperately want to know between the films, Isla Sorna and stuff like that, I think it's such a great little, it's all wrapped up in this nice little package of this little kind of mystery. And so I think Tess Sharp did an amazing job, and I hope, I would love to get more from her and also just more books like that. I think we're so hungry to learn about the lore, and I think getting it in these kind of bite-sized, fun novel forms, I think is a really cool, kind of inspired way to do it. And so I hope we get some more of them. So I really loved Evolution of Claire, and I think it was great, and I hope we get more. So thanks, guys. Bye.
Stephen, it sounds like you've been doing way too much podcasting recently. You okay? You all right? You need some tea? I think you need some tea, right? I have some tea right here.
I want some tea. If anyone wants to send me tea, send me a DM. I'll send you my address.
Oh man, yeah. Well, thank you, Stephen. That was great. I totally get the Scooby-Doo kind of reference there in the best way possible. Like, not to be demeaning or anything, but like Scooby-Doo, it has that, like, you know, the mystery that you were talking about, and the fact that, like, you don't know who it is. Like, you kind of expect, I think it was like Beverly and some other characters, like, you just want the mask to be pulled off of their head to be like, I'm the bad guy, but it's not. You know, it's not really them. It's those other two, which I don't know. Maybe we'll not dive into that spoiler aspect in this moment here, but yeah, you know what I mean. Like, you think it's these people or those people, and it turns out to be somebody or, you know, other people completely different than that.
You know what, though? I haven't seen a lot of Scooby-Doo references, and I never got Scooby-Doo, not once. And even with Fallen Kingdom, people have been saying Scooby-Doo. And you know what I'm getting? I'm going to, like, date my 90-year-old self here, but Nancy Drew is what I'm getting more than Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, like, sort of, what was it? The boy version was like the Hardy Boys or something like that, I think.
Yeah, because I'm 95 in heart. So Nancy Drew was a thing. I love Scooby-Doo, obviously. My whole room used to be Scooby-Doo as a kid, so I love it. But it doesn't feel like Scooby-Doo to me. It's not scary, I guess. Well, it's not people in...
It's not
Nancy
like
Drew.
horror. It's not horror in that sense. It's just like what's the mystery? Got to find out who is the villain of this entire thing, unmask the person, see who it is. And I kind of understand that aspect. Nancy Drew as well. Any of those things. It definitely reminds me of that, because the mystery for me was like the best part, like, well, aside from like all the lore and all that stuff surrounding Jurassic Park and Jurassic World, but like that mystery just kept me reading, kept me turning the page the whole time, wondering, you know, where the sabotage was coming from and all that stuff. That was definitely, I think, like, super intriguing.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what else. We talked so much about this book last week.
It was like 2 hours.
Month. I don't know when we even spoke, but we discussed this so heavily. I don't want it to last another 40 minutes.
Yeah.
So just go listen to that last one.
Yeah. You know what's funny is I was coming down to podcast the other day, and I said to my wife, I was like, all right, I'm going to go downstairs. She's like, all right, see you at 2 a.m. I'm like, I'm not recording with Jen. Like, those are the only ones that go that long. Like, no other ones go that long. She's like, yeah, sure, okay. And then I recorded with Aaron, and now Aaron is like that as well. So we ended up talking way too long, and that episode aired last week. But we get a new monthly segment, the Jurassic Wire. So that's besides the point. But yeah, I don't know why I brought that up. But
shameless plug.
Who knows? Yeah. So thank you, Stephen. Let's move on to the next email. We'll try to like breeze through these. Let's try to like get through them and stop rambling. The next email.
I think people like our rambles.
Do they like the rambles? They like, just, chewing and just rambling and talking about plugs and stuff like that. I don't know what we're talking about. Your April,
in my hairdresser.
Hair done. So this next email is from Ray. This one says, hey, Brad and Jen, it's Ray, the one from Australia. I really enjoyed listening to your review of The Evolution of Claire. It was very insightful to hear your thoughts, and it made me feel more valid in my own. I've got to be honest, I really struggled with the novel. Claire is my favorite character. I love her. She is blank, I'm not going to say that, and has red hair like me, so she gets extra points in my book. I found it hard to connect. Oh my God, I'm breaking my desk. That is not part of the email. That is literally just me breaking my desk. Okay, cool. So moving on.
Oh, goodness. Ray from Australia is waiting for you to finish her email.
Yeah, now my desk is falling apart. Very cool. With a computer on it. Let's try not to fall. All right, so where was I? She got red hair, and I found it hard to connect with her throughout the story because the balance of her personality was so contradictory. I feel conflicted about sharing my negativity, but I couldn't help but feel extremely disappointed. I'm glad that's off my chest. Phew! I do have a question. If there was ever to be a TV show set in the Jurassic Park universe, what would you want it to be? Personally, I would love something in the style of Parks and Rec / The Office, the British one. Probably not an outright comedy, but a sort of mockumentary throughout the first few years of Jurassic World as it was fully operational. Have a lovely day, your friend, Ray. So,
All right. Ray from Australia.
Yeah, what's up, Ray?
I got you on that. I agree. I agree with everything they said because I love Claire as well, and I had a hard time loving the Claire in this book as well. And I think we discussed this some last time too, how she is so vastly different than what we're used to, and we kind of have to flip our perception and flip our base of what we think she is. And Jurassic World was kind of a fluke moment and not the base that we expected. So I think that's throwing people, and that's a valid criticism. So I'm on board with that. It is hard to love her in the book if you love her in the movie because it's so different.
Yeah, I know. We have like 3 different kind of interpretations in a way, and two are more similar than the other. But yeah, I don't know. It's interesting, but definitely, yeah. She already listened to the entire thing there, so yeah.
You know what's interesting though that I guess I can tangent on since that's what we do here. I hear a lot about how Claire is like the most interesting. A lot of people say this, which I really enjoy, but they say she's like one of the most interesting characters in a long time, not just in Jurassic, but in any kind of action-y film. And they really like that about her. And she has like this huge growth and, arc and all of that. And I agree, but that could just be because it is so drastic, and that could just be like a happy mistake. I don't think it's a mistake, but I don't know if you know what I mean, but it's like they made her so different that it's making her arc look so big. And I don't know if that was really intended as it happened. It just kind of happened that way. And people are like, oh, that's so impressive. And I'm like, well, she is so night and day. I don't know I think it's just like a happy mistake that worked accidentally. Yeah. If that makes sense.
Oh, no, I totally get that. I'm going to put that point on hold for just a minute because we're going to touch on that very soon. Okay. I like the shout out here to Parks and Rec / The Office as far as like another TV show set in the world. The Office, though, the British one, hey, no. Like, I'm like one of the biggest fans of The Office, the American version. It's way funnier, guys. It's way funnier. The British one is okay, but it's so dry. And I guess maybe you have to be from the UK or somewhere else around the world, but this is not the Office podcast. So I would love that, though.
I don't watch TV ever.
You don't watch TV ever. So
I don't.
Yeah. But I would love that. And that actually sort of happened recently for the DC universe. They had a show. I don't remember the name of it. You guys are probably, maybe you know out there, but I don't remember. It was on TV, and it got canceled really quick, and it was like, it was supposed to be a show about, like, I think an insurance agency in the world of DC Comics with, like, Batman and Superman and stuff like that, but you never actually saw them. You just saw, like, the destruction from all their fights and stuff and battles. So it was like an insurance agency that kind of helped clean up the mess. And then I think the show morphed into something else, and it turned into like how to like combat that or something, like with like weird technology, and it wasn't as good. But something like that, I kind of like that style, like set in that world, but really having nothing to do with it. Like in that sense, they didn't show any of the superheroes. So that would be like not showing the dinosaurs in this movie or in this TV show. Which I think you can do it. I know people are like, well, you got to have dinosaurs, which, sure, I mean, it would make sense. But the way we're going now, with different things aside from dinosaur cloning, you could make a whole show about something else completely. And I think it would be perfectly great. And we talk about TV shows quite often here in the mailbag. And I'll just say my real quick one is I just want the origin of like John Hammond. I know everybody's like talking about origin shows and origin stuff, and it just like seems so like just like duh, like just make that. Like right now they're talking about making the origin of Jack Bauer from 24. It's like, oh, who cares? Like he's just a guy who's really good with like handling himself and fighting. He was just a normal guy. Like, I don't know. I would like to see that, though, for, like, John Hammond and Benjamin Lockwood. Like, what was their early life? What was the story with Maisie? Anything like that in that realm. And I think if you said it early enough, maybe you wouldn't include the Maisie stuff. But if you said it early enough, you could cast, like, younger guys. And maybe not even have anything to do with cloning. But that's my pitch.
Well,
I don't know.
Here's the thing. Since we've been so lucky with Jurassic to have it move with time, there are so many gaps and there are so many sweet spots for different people that they would choose to put that series in. And I'm with Ray from Australia here with the early Claire stuff because, as we talked about before, this book was supposed to cover that, and it stopped like right at the part I wanted most. And I got maybe a couple chapters of it. And I want the early years of Jurassic World, like the first 5-ish, I don't know. That would be my sweet spot. But then people would love to see between Jurassic Park and Jurassic World and like the science-y stuff, I guess, in between there. And even pre-Jurassic Park with that science-y stuff. And as you said, the Hammond origin story. So there are sweet spots for different people. So there are so many options they could go with if they wanted to do an in-between story. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I like your idea. I'd love to see early Jurassic World, definitely. And now, I mean, with this new movie coming out and with the one that just came out, there's time in between there as well for more options to happen. Because we don't know how – it's probably going to move with time on this next one. Yeah. And I feel like a lot could happen in between. If it skips all that time, there's a lot that's going to happen that we're going to miss. Yeah. And that's a double-edged sword, I think.
Yeah. I forget, were we talking about it or was I talking about it with somebody else? I don't remember, but I was thinking about like a spin-off movie, and I wanted it to be centered around the Mosasaurus.
No, you didn't tell me that. But
okay, I don't remember where I was talking about this. Like, you know, like that movie, The Meg, right now that's going to come out. Like, I haven't watched any trailers. I know he's like super into it, right? I haven't watched any trailers or anything, so I don't really know much about it. But I feel like I think I've heard it's about like just going to capture that giant shark, right? So I feel like you can make a spin-off movie or even a TV show. I didn't think about the TV show aspect until right now when this question was brought up. So that could work as well. Like, you know, if you don't want to cover the Mosasaurus in a movie, just do it here in a TV show about like a rogue group of people that goes out on a boat and tries to hunt down the Mosasaur, comes across all kinds of crazy stuff, some side stories in there as well. And it really has to have nothing to do with Jurassic at all aside from that one creature in the water. I think that could be cool as well. There was another thing I was going to say. The problem is like sort of budgetary, I think, depending on what the story is. As far as like set in between Jurassic Park and Jurassic World, it might be tough because people would want to see like certain things from Jurassic Park, like recreations of the visitor center or certain things around there, or the rebuilding of that area, or the rebuilding of Jurassic World. I feel like a lot of this stuff might take a lot like a big budget. So I don't know like how well it could sell for people. And in the case of like early days of Claire, I was going to ask you, how would you feel about like just some other younger redheaded girl like playing Claire?
That's okay. I love okay. Claire. Claire and Bryce are different entities. Definitely. Okay. I definitely see it that way, which is totally fine.
You have 10 years or so to change, right? What was it? 2004 to 2015, yeah. So.
And I don't 11. Even know, when I was reading the Claire book, I didn't even really see Bryce in my head. I saw a different person. I don't know, whoever young Claire was to me. So they're totally different. So that's fine. That's fine if they cast somebody else. And I'm party of one as usual, and so my ultimate choice would be right after when the book ends and Claire gets hired, like what does she do? Where does she start? What input does she have? What final say was her choice whenever we see the actual park? And then you could throw in the Owen stuff and the Raptor project and explain how that even came to fruition, and if she had any impact on that, and whose idea that was, and what control she had over that, and if she's associated with that at all, or if she was totally focused on something else. Or I mean, there's so many things that go on to make that park, and they left us off on such a point where I'm like, okay, this is just the start. Now what?
Yeah,
like that,
exactly.
It didn't fulfill anything I want. I mean, it did. It fulfilled a lot, but it didn't fulfill that part, you know. And that would be my party of one sweet spot that I want more than anything, and that's fine. I don't care who they cast. I'm cool with it. But nice. I just want my Claire full story, party of one here, wanting a full Claire story.
I'm down with that. So remember I said let's put that one topic on pause about the character development. If I remember correctly, I just glanced at this, the discussion here on my what do you call this, Google Voice, where you can see what people are saying, and I see that Veronica might be talking about something similar. So let's take a listen.
I could predict the future.
Hey guys, it's Veronica. I had to pause the Jurassic Mailbag that was released today because you guys just kept making so many points. And I know that this is, really early, but I just couldn't help myself because, I could probably type this, but I would probably make so many errors that you guys wouldn't understand. So anyways, I'm in the part where you and Jen, Brad, are talking about, the criticism of, the Jurassic fandom or, how there's not one-dimensional characters. And I have to disagree with all of that. I'm with you guys is what I mean. I actually think that there was more character development in this last movie, actually. And even if you read the books as well, going back and forth through all of it, there has always actually been some type of character development within each, movie. There's always has been. For example, I feel like Claire has come a long way from Jurassic World to Fallen Kingdom. She's more emotional. I think she finally realizes, hey, these are breathing animals. I had made the point to Amy a while ago, was that, in Jurassic World, I felt like Claire was just trying to pretend that these dinosaurs didn't exist. So she just wanted to be you know what, they're controlled, but not really, But I think she was just kind of fearful of them because they were so magnificent that she didn't know how to do it, how to react with them. And then we come to this point in time where she's trying to save them because she's finally you know what? Just like Ellie Sattler said, that power is out now, that control was just an illusion. These dinosaurs are living, breathing creatures and they're magnificent and we've got to protect them, and I really liked how they did her story. And I also think, I'm going to quickly, hurry this up, that Chris Pratt also had some development in the sense that, he wasn't just that kind of Alan Grant type of, well, actually I think he was kind of like Alan Grant, not, kind of macho, but in the end, the kids kind of loved him type of thing. I don't know if you guys noticed that, but at the same time, I feel like there was a lot of emotional, depth within his eyes, or maybe that was just me, because, I pay attention to that stuff. But anyways, I'm pretty sure I'm going to call again, because I just have a lot to say. So, yeah, I know I got a month to wait for this, but I couldn't wait for this moment in time. I literally had to pause the Jurassic Mailbag of this month and do this. And people are looking at me really crazy, so I'm going to just stop waving my hands frantically and, talking about dinosaurs. But I love talking about dinosaurs with you guys, because you guys are the best. Oh, my God. All
right. What's up, Veronica? You didn't call back, huh? You just called the one time a month ago and didn't call back, and I see that you just liked the tweet about this month's mailbag, so maybe you're going to call in and we're going to answer it live. I don't know if that's possible, but maybe it'll happen.
Is this crunching really loud?
Oh, that's so just a mouthful of food,
Sorry, I moved on to a new snack.
Oh, new snack. That was my new snack
What's my
song.
new snack? So I took notes during her call.
Yeah, you needed. There was a lot there. I think there was a lot. It was about character development, being one-dimensional, and all the characters Owen and Claire. So, what are your thoughts there?
I guess harking back to what I was talking about, as you said, this is a connecting point, but I disagree with Veronica, and this is why. Because, in my opinion, Claire has not come a long way. She just is a long way. We did not see the journey of her coming a long way. She just was there, and then she was here, and then we were told that she was there. So that's not development. That's just skipping. And so that's what back to my happy accident point. Because it was too drastic of a change, but they kind of got lucky and it worked for a lot of people, and they kind of bought that. But for me, I don't see that as development. I see that as a skip and a change, and then people were reading that as, oh, that's development. I miss the middle. Where's my middle?
Yeah.
Where's my journey? I don't see the journey. So that's my problem with that.
Exactly. I think you nailed it there because, on the surface, that's development. Like, she went from here to there, and like, Veronica said, in Jurassic World and, like, individual movies, there's definitely development, but, like, that in-between is kind of bothersome, and it's, like, it's not fully fixed by the evolution of Claire, even though that's what the attempt was. It still kind of creates that tension where it's, like, it doesn't exactly work for me, but I accept it. I'm okay with it. I have no problem with it anymore, but, there is definitely that assumption, I think, that there's development because she now loves dinosaurs and stuff. And it's not even that. It's not even because she now loves them. It's because she always loved them, and maybe she forgot, or maybe she didn't even forget, because like we talked about, it was just one day, Jurassic World, so we didn't get to see all the well-rounded edges of Claire and who she really was. I don't know. I agree with you that it was just kind of like just skipped, and we didn't get to see what we wanted to see.
And the sad thing for me is that I love Jurassic World Claire. Like, that's my favorite Claire, as terrible as that may be. Jurassic World Claire is my favorite one out of all these versions that we're getting. And to learn that that's not the original Claire, and that's not who she always was, and it's back. It's going backwards to me, and it's changing our base, as I keep saying, because our base is now the book and loving dinosaurs and Fallen Kingdom, Dinosaur Protection Group. That's our Claire base, and I don't know. I don't like that Claire. I mean, she's okay. But she's fine. But I wouldn't love her as much as if that was the first Claire I was seeing. I wouldn't love her as much as I loved Jurassic World Claire. So to find out that Jurassic World Claire is not the OG Claire, it's hurting me a little bit, and I'm adjusting to this slowly. Yeah. But I can't accept that it was development. It was just a change. It wasn't development. It was a change, and people were kind of falling for it and accepting it, and that's good. Good for the movies, because then they're not getting hate on that. But I'm not falling for it, and I love my Jurassic World Claire, and I miss her because now apparently she's gone forever.
I don't fully agree that Claire is not who she was in Jurassic World. The way that the novel tells us is that she was certainly a very focused individual, and she wanted to excel at absolutely everything she could, which is who Claire is. The only difference is that she liked animals. That's really the only difference, and that didn't come across at all in Jurassic World. No sense whatsoever. And it seemed like they were telling us that there was a transition from somebody who doesn't care about animals to somebody who all of a sudden gets it. And I still don't get it myself. How do your eyes reopen and just go back to, I don't know, especially because where that book ends, no spoilers, but where that book ends and where I don't know, like what the point of the book was, and also where it ends didn't really fulfill that journey for me. No.
And I mean, she's not like stupid. She should be aware of her own thoughts. And even just today, I put up an interview on YouTube, and Bryce was just saying, she says this all the time, and she was just saying in that interview how Claire has the same exact personality as in Jurassic World and Fallen Kingdom. It's just that her motives and her motivation and focus changes. And I don't fully agree. I mean, I don't know if it's the same personality. I don't really see it. Like, if you look, even at the end of Jurassic World, where she's supposed to be completely out of that office-y stuff, her personality in the end of Jurassic World is not really the same as Fallen Kingdom. It is the same as the book. I would say Fallen Kingdom and the book are the same-ish. But,
for sure.
Jurassic World is not. And even Bryce is insisting that the same personality, it's just focus has changed. And I just don't agree with my babe. I don't agree with Veronica. I am party of one on this too, but you're with me. We're party of two.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think, like, I was trying to think as you were talking about what aspects of Jurassic World Claire show up in Fallen Kingdom. And, the only real instance would be the beginning where, she's at the DPG headquarters. But even then she has a different demeanor. You know, she's a very nice, relaxed individual. You know, she's very caring, and I didn't get that at all from, first three quarters Jurassic World Claire. So it's very hard to compare any aspect of that movie with her.
Here's the thing. In Jurassic World, I always say she's confident but vulnerable. In the DPG, she didn't seem very confident. She was just regular and kind of like vulnerable a little bit, like worrisome about things, but there's no confidence. There's like no confidence throughout this entire thing. No sure of herself. No, I don't know. There was missing drive. And the only thing that I would say felt Jurassic World Claire to me was when they were doing the T-Rex thing, and she was scared of the T-Rex. Like she'd always like run back to the door, and her climbing on, like that T-Rex thing with the blood felt Jurassic World Claire to me. But that's about it. And that was only the Jurassic World Claire of like the jungle scared part, like not the office-y part. So my office part was gone completely, and I like that part.
I guess maybe the Lockwood Manor stuff initially, when she went out there. That was pretty.
Thinking of things. Sorry. You're right though. Whenever she's talking to Mills and he's playing with that table, and he's telling her like how, I think he says like not legal or something. Like he was saying something like that, and she was like really into it. And he was moving that tape, the electronic table pictures around, and she was like, "How many can you save?" And she like had this really determined Claire face. So there, yes, and then the T-Rex thing, but I think those are the only two where I felt Jurassic World Claire personality.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think that's pretty fair. She's enough criticism about it. Like I'm trying not to criticize it too much, but I actually really like Claire in Fallen Kingdom, and I really like her in the evolution of Claire. So maybe, for me, I think Jurassic World is the outlier that's like, I don't really care for that version. I know you do. But I really loved Claire. And she also Veronica mentioned, Owen, and his development. I think there's a slight development there. I think, from movie to movie too, he transitions the least, out of the two of them. He is not that different, except for the fact that all of a sudden he seems like a real jerk when it comes to the caring for Blue. And that like struck me, but then you realize, well, there is a little bit more behind his eyes, that he is a little bit more caring than he's leading, to believe. I think it's more he's just trying to seem tough in that argument with Claire. But I think there is some differences, and nice differences for Chris Pratt and Owen.
Yeah, that's a tough one because he bounces back and forth in Fallen Kingdom a lot. I feel like he wasn't very consistent. But yeah, I mean, I like that he was he distanced himself from it, which is different than before. So I like they flipped. I mean, she was totally into it and he was no, and this time, I mean, they flipped from the first one. So I like that. I mean, he was fine. Owen is Owen. I mean, there's not much to him. He's pretty straightforward, and he just has kind of his set things, and he does them, which is fine. I don't know.
I think you saw more layers of him. At least I did, and I appreciated that. I liked what he did. I liked his acting a lot more in this movie than the previous one as well.
You know what I liked? I liked at the end with Blue, when he wanted Blue to go with him. And Blue didn't, and he just looked crushed on that. Mm-hmm. And then at the beginning of the movie, he's like, no, I don't care if she dies. And then at the end here, he really cared, like, a lot about this dinosaur. Yeah. So that I liked. I liked that. See, that's an arc. That's a development, because we saw it happen. That's a development. Yeah. Now, from Jurassic World Claire to Fallen Kingdom Claire, that's not a development. That's just a change.
Well, we could probably talk about this all night. So let's move on. Thank you, Veronica.
I like this topic.
I know. We talk about it like every time, I think, and it won't stop here. So let's move on to a voicemail from Clayton.
Hey, guys. It's Clayton Fioriti. Now, I had a question for you. Now, with Jurassic World 3 on its way, and with a whole bunch of characters that I'm assuming will make an appearance in the new movie, whether it be Franklin, Zia, obviously Owen, Claire, and Maisie, and maybe even Alan, Ellie, and possibly Malcolm, if what we know is, well, if what we think we know is said to be true. I have a question on whether or not you think it's possible for either Owen Grady or Claire Dearing to maybe bite the dust in the new movie. Obviously, there's a lot of characters, and not all of them, I would assume, could make it out alive. Even Benjamin Lockwood bit it in Fallen Kingdom. But in this movie in particular, I don't really want to focus on Franklin or Zia or any of the other characters, but the likelihood of maybe Owen or Claire. Could they die in this next movie? Do you think it will happen? Is it likely that it won't happen? Why do you think that, or why do you think that? So I'm really curious, because I think it would be extremely effective for Claire if Owen gets, not necessarily eaten, but let's say he gets killed by some animal or some other person, or an act of God, nature, chaos, whatever. Something like that happens in the new movie. If that were to happen, it could really be effective. Or something could happen to Claire and be really effective to Owen. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. I'm not so sure it'll happen, but I just want to know what you guys think. Take it easy.
Oh, Clayton, I love the question of whether one of those two or anybody we know is going to bite the dust. And Jen, you know I've talked about that at length when it comes to Owen. And I thought for sure he would somehow die. I don't even remember like what circumstance I assumed it would happen, but man, I really wanted him to go. I thought like his time was up in this movie. The months leading up to it, we speculated for, episodes on end, like about, I think it's time. I think Owen will go because he's got a lot of stuff on his plate otherwise, whether it's, Infinity War and all that stuff and Guardians, who knows? But, he's got a lot on his plate. He's a busy guy. And I thought, well, maybe he'll bow out. There's a lot of players here. We can get other people to work. So I would like to stick with my answer of Owen getting killed off. And as you were talking there, Clayton, I was just thinking about like a really upsetting scene would be like, say for instance, Owen dies. I don't know what the instance is, but I was almost imagining like the mansion here. Like imagine he had fallen off that mansion, and instead of like Blue and the Indoraptor, it was like Owen and the Indoraptor that fell through. And maybe Owen didn't get impaled, but he fell and broke his neck or something like that and died. So I was just imagining Blue jumps down or goes down there and just is nudging Owen, and he's not responding.
Like a puppy.
He's not, and Owen doesn't respond. And Blue doesn't know what's going on, and she just keeps pushing him, and he's not responding. Because at this point, Blue is a pet. Like, that's what Blue is. And I think that's okay. I know a lot of people are very critical of Blue being a pet, or the raptors in general, because we only have Blue at this point. But I think that was what it would happen because, it's basically a dog. So I could see that being extremely effective and sad for me, at least. Maybe people would find it dumb, but I think that would be super sad for Blue to actually have to go on her own and not have the to rely on Owen to ever come back and find her. That would be really upsetting.
I had so many thoughts when he was talking that I'm trying to wrangle them all in my head. So first off, I don't think Zia and Franklin will be back. I don't think they will be back. There'll probably be Ellie and Grant, like the new ones, the old new ones, and kind of bring them in a little bit. Maybe a couple new characters. I wish Eli Mills made it so bad.
I know,
but
that would have been a nice little arc, wouldn't it have? The second film, he didn't need to go out and die that way.
Not yet.
I don't know. He would have been nice on the loose.
I mean, and then he would have been going for Maisie all the time, and then it would have had he knows who she is, and I don't know if anyone else alive besides Iris really knows who Maisie is, and to have someone who's villainous know who she is and be able to like tell the world about, like, it would have been a nice layer.
Well, maybe
anyway.
he survived. I mean, Darth Maul survived getting chopped in half and came back. Is there a chance that Eli Mills maybe got spider legs and came back as Spider Legs Mills?
No. Okay, so
and you have no idea what I'm talking about, by the way.
I don't know, and I don't think that's. I don't know what's going on, but okay. So as I was thinking when he was saying about different people dying, I love this idea. I know I wasn't on it before for the second part, but this third part, if this truly is the last part, yes. Like, kill Ellie, kill Grant, kill Claire, like, kill anybody. That would be so impactful.
I don't know.
Oh my goodness.
I don't know. I don't feel like those three need to die. Like, that would be effective, definitely, but I almost feel like it would just be like shock for shock. Like, you don't actually. I don't know. It doesn't seem necessary. Who knows what kind of situation we'll be in, but I was thinking also Dr. Wu can definitely bite it.
Oh, he'll die.
Yeah.
But then I was like, well, okay, let's say Owen dies via Velociraptor, we'll just say. And what will that do to Claire now? Because we know in the book, that kind of traumatized her a bit. So if the same thing happens to Owen, like, what would she do? Before she broke and hated dinosaurs, but like, what would she do? How would that affect her now? Because we saw how it affected her years back. How would that affect her now? I'm really interested in that. I'm really interested to see if Owen dies, like, what would happen to her. How that would break her.
I can't see her dying ever. Can you? I can't see her dying.
No, I mean, it's her story, but people. I mean, if they're gonna, it's possible. I mean, I don't say no. I do think it's possible because why not? It's the end of the trilogy. You could kill the main people, and if they kill her, I don't know if I care how Owen would feel. Like, I don't know if anyone would care. He's just chill and whatever. I mean, yeah, he'd be probably broken, but we know we've seen her break via book. And I don't know if I care if he breaks or not, because we're not as attached. He's just been one line the whole time, and with little dips here and there. But for the most part, his journey, we know who he is, we know his goals, we know his thoughts. But she's been so roller coaster that I think it'd be more interesting to see how she would react to a moment like that. However, I do think Blue will die, and then Owen will have to react to that. Maybe Owen dies saving Blue, and they both die.
Maybe. Yeah, that's a good point. Maybe Blue dies as well. I don't know, but I thought both of them would die at some point in this movie. So
maybe you get it in the third one.
I don't know. Maybe. I'm going to be stuck on that image of, like, just Blue pushing a limp, like, Owen, like, just he's not getting up, he's just dead. Like, that's super sad.
I mean, you could get that. You could get that in the third. And I'd be for it. If it's the last one, I mean, go for it. And I actually would be disappointed if they don't, because you need something really impactful like that. Because we wanted something impactful for this one.
Yeah.
And we didn't get that. So for this third one here, you need that. Like, kill the T-Rex. Like, you got to do something. I thought the T-Rex was gone in this last one. I really did.
Yeah. Every time I thought either the T-Rex, Blue, or Owen would die, and none of them died. So somehow everybody's fine once again.
I mean, it's really not. It's not the T-Rex's story anymore. We're out of the park. The T-Rex could have died in the second one, and it would have been fine, and it would have been impactful, especially if we said how it would have died on the island or something. That would have been impactful. Or if it died in the gas and didn't make it, that would have been impactful. That's a missed opportunity. I don't know how they're going to use the T-Rex other than just a flashy prop in this third one, because it's not really T-Rex's story anymore.
No. I don't know. I was going to say something, but I completely forgot. So let's move on. No, it's not you. It's my mind doesn't work anymore. When we do these mailbags, I just go off the rails completely and don't have any kind of memory whatsoever.
It's hard to because your mind is picking up on every little couple words, and it's like, wait. That's why I took notes during Veronica's thing. I was like, wait, I don't want to miss this.
I had a thought as you were talking. I'm like, it's gone. Goodbye.
It's
all right.
So hard. It's so hard to hold on to them.
Thank you, Clayton. Let's move on here to a website submission from Bob. And Bob says, following your chat on the last mailbag about the human clone side of Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, I took it to be that Maisie was the only clone. Lockwood's daughter was real, but died, and he cloned her in his grief. I think that's as far as the human cloning goes in this storyline, at least. I suppose it makes sense that someone who can clone a complex animal like a dinosaur may look elsewhere with science. My concern is that that this is setting up the storyline for Jurassic World 3, or he says JP3, but which I don't want as... Wait, what? My concern is that they are setting up the storyline for JP3, which I don't want as these dinosaurs... or dinosaur films, not cloning whatever you like films. Okay, sorry, Bob.
What?
Is
that English?
No, because I can't read. Remember that thing about my brain not working?
It's broken.
Okay, so basically what he was saying in that last sentence was he's concerned that that's the storyline for Jurassic World 3, and he doesn't want that because these are dinosaur films, not clone whatever you want films. And he says, Anyway, great show, praise from London, Bob. Thanks, Bob. Sorry, I can't read. But yeah, I'm trying to think back to last episode. Did we talk about like others being cloned? I don't think so.
I don't remember.
I can't remember because, I don't remember much of anything, obviously, but I don't remember talking about others. I think I had mentioned the fact of, like, Maisie, like, the Maisie that you see in Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom could not have been the first attempt, just because of timing and stuff like that. And, I mean, who knows? I don't know the whole backstory here, and I don't think a lot of people do, but... there's some sort of discrepancy between when Maisie was created, also because Lockwood says, they were young men when they basically had this falling out. And I don't know, maybe he considers 20 years ago young men, maybe, and he would have only been 60, but something like that. But maybe that's a young man. Maybe that's when they had their falling out. And I just personally don't think that the Maisie you see in the movie was the first attempt. I think there must have been failed attempts, just like with the dinosaurs. Whatever dinosaur came first wasn't the actual first one. There was multiple, failed attempts at creating the dinosaur first, which is pretty horrifying to think about, and very horrifying to think about with a human, having failed attempts. And I think that's where, this story could go, and maybe you're talking about other people that are creating, maybe other companies that those DNA files went out to, maybe like those people are trying humans. I don't think so, but who knows? I really think Maisie was the only one cloned, but cloned multiple times because the age and the time, nothing really lines up there as far as that's concerned.
I agree. And I'm going to make a reference that nobody is going to get, but I'm going to make it anyway. So in Smallville, all I can think of is when they clone Lex, and there was a ton of them because like he supposedly died. It's the same messy situation as this seems to be. And then they had like a whole wall of them. And then they made some mistake ones. And then like there's weird ones that kind of came out in the real world. And it was just like weird half-bred Lexes and all these different mistake hybrids, not hybrids, clones, all these mistake clones and that. And I feel like that's where it might go if they want to touch into that. I'm not interested in that. I wasn't interested in that in Smallville, and it's going to take me to Smallville if they do this, and I didn't really care for that. And this is a dinosaur movie, so I'm trying to ignore I'm taking the clone stuff with a grain of salt. Like, yeah, they did that. Cool. Let's move on.
Yeah, well, I think, just in the terms of science, you kind of have to have those trials to get to the perfect one. No, yeah, you don't want to see it, and that would be horrifying to see in like a super ultra realistic version. But I think the clone storyline will continue, and I know these are dinosaur films, but it might turn to clone whatever you like, and maybe we'll get the story of Dolly in Jurassic World 3, the sheep, right?
Maybe man, I don't want to go there. I don't want to go there. I don't want any clone things. I mean, it just doesn't get me. I don't know.
You don't want like 2 Malcolms?
Like, are people going to be using? No, are people going to be using this clone stuff to like clone vegetables, and then we'll just have all these giant tomatoes around?
That's it. That is horrifying, if you ask me.
That's where it's going to go.
Giant tomatoes
if they go
taking
there.
over the world. Hey, you want to come to my new theme park?
For that.
You know, like first we had fleas, and then we had dinosaurs, and then we had giant tomatoes.
Vegetable park.
Yeah, that's when John Hammond is cloned back to existence, and he talks about his flea circus, his dinosaur park, and then his park with giant tomatoes.
Mm-hmm.
So
I don't want to go there.
No, nobody wants to go there.
I'm not interested in Tomato Park. I feel like that's where we're going.
To Tomato Park. So, on that note, let's move over to an MP3 from our friend Lonnie. Here it is. Let's take a listen.
Hey, this is Lonnie Clay calling in for some of my thoughts on Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom.
Let me boost this.
The volcano sequence I thought was a lot of fun. It had a real primal kind of feel to it, with the lava coming down, and just it was almost like meteorites coming from the sky. I thought that was an incredible sequence and a great addition to the Jurassic franchise. One of the things, you were totally right about the publicity. There was way too much publicity that showed what was going on. When The Lost World came out, there was almost nothing of the San Diego sequence. Whether you liked it or not, it was a total surprise if you saw that movie opening weekend. The trailers for that didn't come out till after the movie happened, so if they could have shown maybe less of the Lockwood and more of the island, that would have been really interesting, but I know that was so much of the movie. It had a darker take on it, a real Michael Crichton feel to it. I love that addition to the Jurassic franchise and how that felt. The lava, when it went over the island, I thought it would be worse than what it was. I mean, it was bad, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad there was nothing of the visitor center being destroyed or anything like that. Just seeing the Brachiosaurus erupt in the fireball, that was enough for me, man. Make a grown Jurassic Park fan cry, seriously. But it was a pretty incredible sequence. I did not see the whole Macy clone thing coming. Did not see it. That was a total surprise. I was glad to have one surprise in the movie that I didn't see coming. And who was her mom? Seriously, like, where is that going to go in the next movie? Something I read on the internet, and I was wondering, the Indoraptor, I wonder if it was spliced with human DNA or something like that, because that thing actually grinned. I mean, it looked at the camera and it grinned right before it ate the military guy in the cage. I was like, what the heck? That thing just grinned at the camera. So I don't know what that was about, but I thought that was crazy. It looked like it was happy to have a meal. Blue didn't die. No major characters died. That surprised me. I also thought someone like that was going to die. Didn't happen. So no one bit the big one. We'll see what happens in the next movie. I did like the finale. It really leaves us in a place to look forward to the next one, and we'll see where everything goes. So it'll be fun to see that sci-tech feel the next movie of how dinosaurs will interact with the rest of us humans. And it was a great addition to the franchise. I love the movie overall. I can't wait to see the next one, and I guess that's about it. Thanks for everything you do, Brad. Keep it up, man.
Thanks, Lonnie. Right there with you, man. Like, I thought it was pretty on par with that. I think the lava stuff for me was awesome. It was so iconic, and that is something I talk about all the time, is that, like, that imagery is something that I've always wanted to see come to life, because every old book and every artwork that you used to see, the old paleo art and stuff like that, always includes volcanoes erupting in the background with dinosaurs in the foreground. And that's just such an iconic look, and it fits this franchise really well. And kind of like an unexpected turn, you didn't really expect that to pop up. Oh, hey, there's a volcano back there all of a sudden. But it did, and I'm glad that worked out. I'm really on par with, like, basically everything you said.
I took notes during this one as well.
Oh, yeah.
So one thing that he mentioned that this is actually blew my mind, and it was the first time I thought of it, is when he said meteors. Like, it was like there was meteors coming out of that volcano. And that blew my brain because, oh my goodness, what a better way to extinct dinosaurs than with, like, a meteor imagery coming out of a volcano, like that was just genius. Like it was meteors.
Yeah.
Wow. That amazing. I hope that
Now-
was intentional. Cause
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, maybe it could have been. I certainly got that imagery before, but in a real life note, I don't know if you've been following along with the volcano activity in Hawaii.
I have not.
Not?
I knew
Okay.
it happened.
Well, yeah. I mean, this has been going on since prior, like a month, I think, prior to the movie actually being released. I think it was around that time where volcanic activity started on one of the surrounding areas over there. Sorry, I'm not too knowledgeable on that, whatever's going on. But there's this giant fissure that erupted here, and now there's just lava flowing, and it's been going. And I was reading about it. It could be like months to a year or so before it's done. And just the other day, I was watching some report where like some fissure erupted like on the coast. Like I guess it looked like it was on the water, like in the water. And a giant, like, just explosion of, like, lava shoots in the air, just like you'd see in the movie or something like that. But this is real life. And apparently some boat that was, like, down the way, like, pretty far away, got hit with a lava bomb, is what they were calling it. And it was, like, a giant chunk of, I guess, lava as it came, it dried, as it's flying through the air, and just smashed through the roof of this boat. And I think some people got hurt, but I don't think anybody was seriously injured or anything. But scary, you know, like that's real. I guess that's real stuff, you know, that's scary stuff.
Oh, so it really does meteor shower whenever lava erupts. That's interesting.
Yeah, lava's scary. Lava is super scary. And, you know, like
natural disasters in general.
Yeah.
Like me and natural disasters, I get terrified of lightning.
Yeah.
I have a serious problem of natural disaster fear. That's like my greatest fear in the world. But yeah, so the meteor thing was awesome. And then he mentioned how the Indoraptor smiled at the dude. I love when I just capped this actually. I've been capping all day long and been tweeting about it. But
yeah.
Whenever the Indoraptor's in the cage and Owen goes to flip the switch to make him stop moving, he like laughs at him in the best way. Like it just, I love that part every single time I watch it. He like evil laughs, like it's a Jafar laugh or something.
I'll have to catch that. I think I know what you're talking about, but I have to double check because I think I know.
Right when he pulls a lever to make him stop and kind of go backwards, as he's moving, he like looks right at Owen and kind of like Jafar laughs at him. I love that so much. And
does he say like, let's see how snake-like I can be, and then he just turns into a giant snake?
I think he was thinking that. I do. That's why I call it
Indo snake.
But, yeah. He was thinking that way. I think. But also back to the greatness of the island, because I was just capping today, and I went through the whole movie like full on, frame by frame, practically. And it is such a switch going from the island to the mansion. And I haven't seen the movie in full for a while, like, I don't know, a month or so, maybe-ish. And it's still jarring whenever you're finished that island and you have so much energy and it's just everything. And then you switch and you're back with Mills and the auction guy. I'm like, oh, I don't know. It still drags it. It slows it. It like stops the film so much. And I don't know if that was the best decision. I mean, the Jurassic feel is the island, so is it just taking it off the island that stops it, or is it just the way they did it that stops it? I don't know.
I kind of like that, though. I have no problem with the tonal shift and the, I guess, I don't know. I still feel like there's a lot of action, a lot of drama, but as far as the epicness, the scope of it is much smaller, of course, but I'm okay with that. There's a lot of movies that do that kind of thing. I mean, Jurassic Park did that in a way. It just had its like basically climactic moment in the middle of the movie, essentially, or towards the later middle, with the T-Rex breakout, and then it kind of, contained.
That worked more for me than this did.
Yeah.
Even after weeks of not really watching it and just capping it here today, I still felt it just with capping it. I just felt, oh, we're here now.
Another pretty big example would be out of your realm, but The Empire Strikes Back. It starts off basically, with one of the biggest battles on a planet, and then kind of goes lower key the rest of the movie for most of it. And then it ends in a very closed, like, kind of way like this, where it's just emotional, it's personal and stuff like that. And I think that's kind of what they're going for. And with Empire being the middle of that franchise and this being a middle, it's kind of, a lot of people compare middle movies. They're like, oh, I wonder if it'll be the Empire Strikes Back of this trilogy. And that's usually what the mark is. Like, is it going to be like that movie? And this one, I think, was in that sense.
Okay. I didn't know anything about that. So maybe that is a thing that you do with middle movies. I don't know. It didn't work for me that much. I mean, it was fine, but it is jarring every time.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that was good. Thank you very much, Lonnie. Let's move on here. We've another website submission from Adam. And he says, love the show. Thanks so much for putting in the effort to make these episodes. I love my commutes to work due to your podcast. That's cool. Thanks.
Wow.
Anyways, I have a question for you. I'd love to hear your thoughts and analysis if you have time. In regards to exploring the chaos/unpredictability/butterfly effect side of things, the first Jurassic Park movie, how do you think the plot of the movie and therefore the future of the actual first park, which then in turn would impact all the other movies, how do you think that would have been affected if certain elements went differently or never took place? For example, no storm, which equals no Rex/Raptor breakout, and the tour went ahead with no issues and received endorsements to open. Also, if Nedry succeeded with his mission, also if Ellie stayed with the tour, or if Grant and Tim die in the tree/Explorer. I'd love to hear your take on those and what you think of the plot of the first movie would be if any of those events happened differently or not at all. And how would it affect the future movies? Thanks, man. So that's from Adam. That's a good question. And
I feel like you can almost do a whole podcast just on that question.
Yeah, I think we could probably. Yeah, that's probably a good point. Might have to do that. But do you have a quick kind of like answer for some of them?
That's hard because let's see. So let's say a storm didn't come. What does the storm impact? The escape stuff. Well, no, it doesn't impact.
Yeah.
Well, it impacts Nedry escaping.
Yeah, it doesn't. Unfortunately, the storm doesn't really. It's kind of like the magic trick.
It's an annoyance.
It's really like everybody in the compound thinks that like it's an issue, the storm, but it actually has no bearing on the outcome of the movie.
Hold on.
Well,
now,
it does. It's, aside from Nedry, that's the only Nedry would have succeeded without the storm. I think
Yeah, so that's a big thing. Because if he would have succeeded, he locked the fences and he shut off how did the fences? Because he only shut off like the fences he needed. So the T-Rex fence wasn't one of those, right? Because whenever
it was all of them.
No, wait. Now, when Nedry was leaving and escaping, wasn't Ray Arnold like Raptor paddock still on, T-Rex paddock still on? Like, there were some that were still on. It was only some security fences that were down.
Yeah. I forget which one specifically, but there was something
like that.
The big
ones were still there. So what made the big ones go down? Was it the storm?
No, it was definitely not the storm. It might have been them rebooting. I forget the specific order.
They had to reboot to get the other systems online. That's what did it.
But
okay.
Yeah, I think there's some discrepancy there as to which pen was down as well. But aside from that, the storm really had no effect on the movie. I think the movie, basically, aside from Nedry dying, it would have went exactly the same way. It's hard to say. Maybe it would have been different. Because I think at that point the people were already thought Nedry turned on them basically.
Yeah.
He was supposed to go unnoticed, like he just went for a drink, get some soda or something and come back to do his job, and that didn't happen. He couldn't get to the dock. apparently, if he had gotten back to the dock, do you think anybody would have believed him, or would they have been like, "You did this. You just sabotaged us"? I think they would have known.
Here's my other point with the storm, though. The dock would have waited for him longer. He wouldn't have had to rush as much, because wasn't the boat guy wanting to leave because of the storm in a rush? Like, I think he would have waited for him longer. So then Nedry wouldn't have had to rush if it wasn't for the storm. He could have seen better, and he could have got his way to dock better, and they would have waited for him. So I do think the storm played a really big role, actually.
Yeah, but I don't think much would have happened differently. I think
without the storm, I don't know.
I don't know, because I'm saying, like, he would have still had to turn the power off, and he still would have had to leave the building. And say, for instance, he drops off the DNA and he comes back. Do you think that do you think John Hammond and Ray Arnold and Muldoon, do you think they believe him, Nedry, when he's like, I just got my soda and his Butterfingers, and he comes back? Or do they say, Nedry, you just shut down the entire park, and now the fences are down and blah, 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 whatever's happening?
Yeah, I mean, they wouldn't have believed him, but that would have changed everything. They might have gotten him to turn the fences back on.
Maybe.
But again, I don't think that he didn't get rid of the important fences, like the T-Rex and those fences. That went down when they had to reboot the system. So, I mean, that's in response to him. So if he would have came back, I don't think the T-Rex fences would have got down.
Yeah, I cannot remember for the life of me what the timeline of the fence was.
I know, it's hard to deconstruct it, like really rip it apart like that and think backwards. But that's a really, really hard question, a really good question. I don't know. I mean, without a few things, I guess, and they would have just got that one snag, because there are just little snags that build up to a big problem. There's not really a huge problem, which is why I'm kind of in the park with John Hammond here when he's like, well, if Nedry didn't do that, it would have been fine. If we did this, it would have been fine. It would have been flawless. I feel like it wasn't a total disaster. It was just a few little things, a few little snags that kept happening that built up to a problem. So if you would have fixed those couple of snags, I think it would have been fine. Really, I think the park would have been salvageable and operational and fine.
Yeah, maybe. I think if they had sat him down and been like, you need to fix this, they probably wouldn't have had to go through all the
when I
well, yeah, I guess the main difference is I don't know, it's hard to say, because when he comes back, I'm saying, I think they would have just thrown him away and put him locked him up, instead of maybe asking for his help, because at that point he's already sabotaged them. He already put the what do you call it? There was some sort of lock on the system where they couldn't get in and fix the issue. That was the real issue, was they couldn't fix it themselves, that they had to shut everything down. So if they knew he sabotaged them, would they ask for his help to fix it?
I don't think they would have turned off the entire system then, though. They would have had at least somewhat of an option with him there. But because restarting the entire system is what released the Rex, I believe, and the Raptors and the dangerous things. Because when Nedry left, they were not. It was only the fences for him to get out. It wasn't the dangerous fences. So if he came back, I feel like they wouldn't have. They wouldn't have reset the system. They would have found something. At least they would have had a base to go off of, because when he left, they had nothing to go off of, so they had to restart. But I don't know. It's hard to say.
Yeah. See, as far as I know, the T-Rex fence went out with all of them, on the initial run.
I don't think so.
And the only one was because Muldoon is he didn't turn the raptor fences off, did he? He's concerned mostly about the raptor fence. And then they find out, well, where did the tour stop? And it's we cut to the T-Rex paddock. And
maybe.
And then you find out later that, because they hadn't shut the power down at that point.
Right.
They shut the power down off later.
I was thinking that the T-Rex didn't come out because the Raptors didn't go off. So why would he turn off the T-Rex and not the Raptors? Why not just turn off everything, or just what you need? And he doesn't need the T-Rex off. So
and
I don't know.
The discrepancy I was thinking about before is the you remember the computer monitors flashing? It's like dun, 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 dun,
Yeah.
dun, bam, 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 like just showing all the different fences.
Mhm.
I'm pretty sure there's a fence that says Velociraptor and it's blinking as if it's not working. And I'm pretty sure that is prior to the power going off.
But then Arnold was like,
But
raptor
that-
fences are on. So.
I'm pretty sure that there is actually a raptor paddock, which is what Alan and Lex and Tim go through because there's eggs out there for raptors. So that's probably the fence that was down. So there could have been other raptors out there somewhere. But as far as the raptor pen was concerned, the actual one that like you saw in the beginning of the movie, I think that was still safe until the shutdown. So I think a lot of stuff would have went down. Maybe not as bad. You know, the T-Rex would have broken out, threw the truck off, blah, blah, blah. All that stuff would have happened. Maybe, you know, Dedry would have been Ned. No, Nennis Dedry.
Dennis Nedry.
Dennis Dedry. Dennis Nedry wouldn't have been dead or Ned, and he probably would have been alive. But I think if the Raptors hadn't gotten out at the end, they would have got the park up and running at that point. But the T-Rex would still be out. But they would have activated the fences elsewhere. Right? Now we're just all over the place.
So, yeah, I'm a bit lost at this point.
Yeah, sorry, I'm in my own head. But
there's a lot of thought at 11:03 p.m.
Yeah, it's a lot. It is a lot. So let's keep it at that, and we'll think about doing a full episode on that because I do like this topic, and it needs to be flushed out. We need like the full itinerary of what happened because I think I got most of it right there. You know, just remembering, but the timeline is a little iffy, and there's that blinking screen. I'm like trying to think of what situation everything comes in, but I want to do that for sure. So we'll save that. Thanks, Adam. And man, let's move on to another voicemail here. Where was that one? Let's take a listen.
Hi, my name is Ender Kyrie. I've commented on a couple of the videos on YouTube before, but I've never called in. So I thought I'd call in for the August mailbag for the first time. I love listening to the July mailbag, especially with all the Fallen Kingdom talk. But when you brought up your Brachiosaurus again, I had some questions about that. And one thing I've always loved about the Jurassic Park franchise is the different names for the dinosaurs, because a lot of people don't know about the names. So obviously the Rex that everybody calls Rexy a lot of the time, in the original production notes, we see that the crew called it Roberta. And then obviously you've got Delta, Blue, Charlie, and Echo. And a lot of people know that the Triceratops in the first movie was called Sarah. Obviously, the new Stygimoloch is called Stygie. And people are the crew of the first Jurassic World named the Indominus Darcy, et cetera, et cetera. So, I was wondering, going along with the fan theory headcanon that the Brachiosaurus that we see eat it in Fallen Kingdom is the same one that we see greet us in Nublar in the first movie, what would you like that fan name to be for the Brachiosaurus? After all, you did name Stan, and that one seems to have fit pretty well.
Yes!
And then for Jin, what would you name your baby Ankylosaurus that you mentioned in the last episode? So that's what I was wondering. Thanks for answering. See you next one. Bye.
Okay, wait now. This is where it gets messy because in the Claire book, the two Brachiosauruses from the original Jurassic Park were named, correct?
Yeah. You keep talking. Hold on, I can grab my notes.
Okay. So I love how I'm keep talking. I don't know. I can't think if you're not here. I'm alone. Cold and alone.
You can't figure it out on your own? You don't know how to talk anymore?
I can't do it if you're not here. But see, now I could do it. Now I'm fine.
You're fine now, yeah.
In the Claire book, it was Olive and Agnes were the...
Good thing I got up to get my notes because you beat me to it. Cool.
I have a memory somewhat. So, occasionally, selectively. So, those were the two Brachiosauruses in the Claire book thought to be the two Brachiosauruses in the original Jurassic Park. Now, we've deducted, I think, that this is where it gets messy. But I've personally deducted that the Brachiosaurus that dies on the island on the dock is not one of the originals because it wasn't old enough to be. I don't feel like it was old enough. Maybe the originals even died already. I don't know. But I want to believe that the one that died on the dock is Pearl, the little Brachiosaurus that Claire had in the novel. That's what I'm going with.
Yeah, that's my thought too.
I want that. It's been debunked though. Like, who said it? Didn't J.A. Bayona or Colin or someone say that? Yeah, the one on the dock was one of the originals. I don't like that. I'm trying to find it in my notes here. I don't see that, but I do remember. Yeah, one of them said that. Which, yeah, I talk about this constantly, but I don't love when they do that kind of thing. Yeah. So I like that we could deduct that it could be Pearl. It is Pearl. I'm calling it. Yeah, I like that, but I don't like to be told that it is the one from the original movie. Like, that's, I don't know. I like it to play out in our own minds and our own imagination. And we could have that memory and connection with Pearl. In that sense, that would make things connect a lot more. And I like that too. Pearl is there's no spoilers, but like Pearl's a big deal in the novel. Mm-hmm. And to have Claire's reaction, because I feel like Claire knows her island, she knows her dinosaurs, she knows her stuff. Like, she knows that stuff on the island. She knows her island stuff. And I feel like she would know Pearl if she saw her. So I would like to think, especially since she knew Pearl since it was young dinosaur, like, and she grew up on the island when Claire was on the island. So I feel like she would know that dinosaur. And I would hope that that was the one that was on the dock, because for Claire to see it, that would add so much to that moment, more than anything originally, for that to be that dinosaur and then her reaction, which is so good. That's what I want, and that's what I'm going to believe. I don't care. I don't care what people tell me. I'm believing that. And today, actually, someone brought to the point, shout out to Ashley, who brought this to my attention, that the Triceratops that Claire's looking at in the jail, could that be the original young Triceratops that was in the novel as well? Oh, yeah, that would be interesting. That would be pretty interesting too. Yeah, just grown up and yeah. Oh, I like that. I like that thought. And I already had that connection, not like that character, but like just the obvious connection of like the baby being there while she's talking about the first time, you saw a dinosaur. Right. But that takes it to it like another step further. That's actually pretty cool. I like that a lot. Yeah, I mean, it's like a symbolic thing. Like, I took it as a symbolic thing and a reminder, like her saying, oh, well, just kind of reminiscing a little bit in her head that Owen has no idea what she's thinking about. But the audience does, who read the book. But thinking that that's that Triceratops that she, like, dove in the dirt for to save and all of that, that's really, really interesting. And for her to just be really just next to it in this circumstance and, like, watching it in a cage, and like she watched that one grow up as well, and now she doesn't know what's going to happen to that or her at this point, and she's just remembering seeing that Triceratops and it was a little one. Like, that's something. And why are they not, if it's not true, if we're just totally headcanon this, I don't know, why is it not real? Because I think if they want to sell this book and really say yes, it's part of canon, then they should be doing these kind of connections, because that would make it so much better. Yeah. I like that, and that's something that you just concluded, you said somebody else kind of cued you into that. Yeah, Ashley, shout out Ashley. Yeah, so that's like something she just came up with, right? Like on her own, just kind of deducted that that's what it is, and I like that. I like that you can have that sensibility to connect dots on your own. And maybe it's not true, but it works. There's nothing to tell you that it doesn't work, unless Colin says no, that's not the case. And okay, I don't want him to do that. That actually just brought up a really mind-blowing comet meteor level mind-blowing moment. Okay, so the dinosaurs that were chosen to die here are very interesting. It was not die, but focus on. It was the Brachiosaurus and it was the Triceratops. Now, what came first? It's like a chicken or egg situation, because their Brachiosaurus and the Triceratops was very important in Jurassic Park. So when Tess wrote this novel, did she think, okay, those two are main dinosaurs from Jurassic Park, so I'm going to include them in this novel? Or did the Fallen Kingdom folks say, hey, we're going to include these two, make that your focus in your book? Or did it come as concurrently is the word, I guess, wherever they were like, well, we want these to be the same dinosaurs that she has in the book in this movie as well. So is it just a shout out? Is it just a reference? Is it just taking like dinosaurs that have been important? Are they the same dinosaurs? What came first? You know, chicken or egg
that.
thing.
Yeah, I think I would personally believe that they told her there needs to be a connection between these, and you can come up with the connection, but there should be some sort of substance here to make people care.
I mean, and then you have that. This is where it gets messy, because then you have that weird connection of the Brachiosaurus from the original doing that same jump to the tree move as you have it on the dock. So that's a reference there. And then you have the Brachiosaurus reference in the book. So now you have a cross reference to two different Brachiosauruses, and it's getting messy. I wish they would just pick one and be sure of it and say, yes, this is this one, because now I don't know. It's messy.
Who knows? I don't know. Yeah, it is kind of messy, but what are you going to do, you know?
But in my head, that's the original. That's the book Triceratops, and that is the book Pearl grown up into real big dinosaurs, and Claire is living with them right now in this movie. That's what I'm going with. It's my canon.
Oh, well, thank you so much. That was a good question. I like that one.
Wait, he asked me what I would name
your Ankylosaurus, right?
What would I? Yeah, I don't know. I would really have to think about this. I don't know. I might have to come back on it. I hope he tunes in next month, because let me think. I might come up with it by the end of the episode, though. I don't really know. I mean, is it a girl Ankylosaurus or a boy Ankylosaurus?
Well, while you're thinking about that, I have something I could talk about real quick if you want to think.
Go for it.
So I remembered what I was going to say before, surprisingly.
Louis is my Ankylosaurus.
Louis. I like it.
I want one.
Louis and Stan.
So cute.
That's good. That's a perfect name for an Anky.
It is.
Anky. Now I forgot what I was going to say.
I'm sorry.
No. Wait, no, maybe it's leaving my mind completely.
No, come back.
Okay, so somebody, I don't know who it was, brought up the fact that none of the like side characters and stuff died. Remember that discussion? Before
recently,
today? In this episode today, yes. Somebody brought that up. It was like Franklin and so.
Oh yeah.
And then a lot of people have been talking about like no good guys died in this movie, which is not 100% true. I mean, Lockwood died, even though he's kind of like on the fence, and not like he's not really like one of the good guys, like the Claire, Owen, Franklin, Zia, and Maisie, I guess, but. I get that description because he does sort of fit in that realm, but none of like the main crew died, when that tends to happen pretty often in these movies. There's a few instances where I thought like maybe they'll kill off Franklin. I thought like maybe there was a few times where he could have died, but they never pulled the trigger there, which I'm glad for, because he was he was a good character throughout the movie, and Zia, there was no chance for her to die, really. But, yeah, that was my random thought of the moment.
Here's a random thought on your random thought. Now, when they killed off Zara for apparently no good reason, I mean, people had a heart attack saying, oh, she didn't deserve it, and all of this. And, like, you don't need to deserve it. They're just animals. But in this case, if they would have killed off Franklin or something, they would have been like, oh, he didn't deserve it and all that. So you can't even kill a good guy anymore unless they deserve it, apparently.
Well,
so I don't know if that's what they were thinking.
I don't know. Apparently, like I was having a big debate about this online today. So a few days ago, as you're listening to this, but about that same thing, whether, Zia deserved it or not. And no, of course not. Like, nobody does, really. Even the villains probably don't deserve to get ripped in half. My point in film is that dinosaurs don't care who lives and dies. It's never going to be, like, simple or easy. Sometimes it's going to be messy. Sometimes it's going to be brutal. So that's like in film. People are saying that there's an issue with the filmmaking, that they didn't lead into it, which is true. There was no real lead into it. They didn't make you care for her. Very true. And there was no follow-up to it. She died. It was over. There was no.
Yeah.
Claire didn't care, and the kids really didn't care. But also,
there was no time to do all that either. You
don't need to focus on every single thing. There doesn't have to be like I was talking about with Colin or J.A. giving an answer to everything. There doesn't have to be an answer to everything, and I think that makes it more intriguing and that makes it more fun. And I don't know. I didn't need to feel attached to Zara. She could have just died, and maybe it was brutal. Maybe it was too much, but it was also a spectacle for spectacle's sake. And I know people have an issue with that too, but that's on purpose. It was done that way because it was supposed to be shocking and it was supposed to be sparkly and something you've never seen before because it was brutal. And to me, it brings back to the old trading cards. The dinosaur attacks, they were very, very brutal dinosaur attack images. And some of my favorites were with pteranodons and pterodactyls and all those crazy things, like picking up people, impaling them. And we got a few of those moments in Jurassic World, whether it was Masrani, the guy next to him, like got impaled by the pteranodon, which was something straight out of those cards. And also that entire Main Street sequence, which was brutal for the sake of just being brutal. Like that's what those cards were intended to do. And I feel like Colin is like maybe a fan of those cards or something because there's a bunch of moments that like pull straight out of those things. And they had nothing to do with Jurassic, but they were just brutal for the sake of being brutal. And they were awesome. I loved them. They were so bloody. They were so brutal. And they just showed dinosaurs killing people. And it was horrifying. But when you see it come to life in that sense, you're like, wow, that feels familiar. And I really appreciated that because it felt real and it felt like, sometimes with death, you just don't have an answer and there's no you didn't expect it and there was no follow-up. You got no answer for why it happened. And that's the case here, whether it was filmmaking or real life in canon, answers.
In the backlash of that, I feel that they're scared to do that now in a way, and that's a shame because I like that. I like the unexpected. I like the extreme in that sense. It's not predictable, and I don't know if this was if this was consciously or not. But what they did with Fallen Kingdom, I wonder if Eli Mills's death was a result of that because he was bad, he deserved to die, so he will die. Just because that's the formula for that, and people have a riot if they don't follow that formula. And that's a shame because he shouldn't have died. And if he died because of that formula, that's wrong. Don't be doing that. And my Zara Claire argument is, when would she have found out that Zara died? I mean, maybe she didn't find out till after the movie ended.
Yeah, I feel like she probably would have found out from the kids, right? Because the kids saw it happen.
Maybe, but
if they,
I don't know.
If they remembered,
a lot was going on, and maybe she just assumed that Zara was with the other people at the hotel, or they left her, but nothing happened to her, kind of thing.
Yeah, maybe the kids that didn't mention it at all, and she just assumed. And then I don't know. I always assumed that she's kind of up to date because I think in that last moment of Jurassic World, like many things we've said, is that you don't see the whole story, and I'm sure she was not just standing around just being helped. I think she was helping, doing a lot of that stuff. So I feel like she probably knew.
Okay, I don't know. I'm trying to defend that point, but
it also it doesn't matter. It's not supposed to be something debated hotly over the course of 3-4 years now. I don't know. I have no issue with it, and I don't think there's a real filmatic
tell that to
problem.
The high heels. Zara and the high heels. Tell that's too much.
Exactly.
That's an issue for too many.
I know.
Too many discussions.
My
goodness.
I burst out earlier last week, I guess, as of this recording, about people just ripping apart the movie and still talking about Jurassic World for no good reason. I'm gonna see if I can find it as I'm rambling here, but it's just more people. Here we go. must be a Star Wars fan or something. It says, "Holy poo! I haven't watched any of the Jurassic World movies."
Holy poo!
That's exactly what it says. I don't know. I haven't watched any of the Jurassic World movies, but I'm watching a breakdown of them now, and boy, did Star Wars dodge a bullet. Following it up with, I'm pretty sure Trevorrow, or however you spell it, hates women. and then goes on to say the main male villain dies off screen with ominous blood splatter. Random female assistant, probably the most gruesome / gratuitous JP death of all time. No. I'm sorry, it's not. It's definitely not. It's definitely like, brutal, but it's definitely not the most gratuitous. Also, yeah, okay, one of the main guys dies off screen and with the blood splatter, sure, whatever. And Trevorrow, however you spell it, does not hate women. That's for sure. So that's the kind of stuff that you have to deal with when you run a podcast or you're somebody in the Jurassic community that people talk to. It's just I don't know. And especially the Star Wars community recently has been speaking out against hatred in their own community, whether Ahmed Best, who played Jar Jar Binks, got a lot of hate for playing that character. Jake Lloyd, who was the kid who played Anakin Skywalker, got a lot of hate. And Kelly Marie Tran, who played Rose Tico in The Last Jedi, got a lot of hate and left social media. And people stand up for them.
They're just actors.
Well, I know, but and people trash them for no good reason because they're a bunch of jerks. So they just ridicule these people for no reason, and then they leave or they do something wrong or bad. Or Ahmed Best almost killed himself, and he came out about that recently on Twitter. So people stand up for those people, rightfully so, but they also talk very poorly about Colin Trevorrow. So there's a weird double standard there, and this is a random tangent that is super serious for the mailbag, but I wanted to point that out because I feel like people are there's a double standard when it comes to speaking about Colin Trevorrow for some reason.
I know. I fully agree. I love Colin. I will stand by him all the time because he I don't know if he's just caught in crossfire or he's just had a really bad string of karma with other people happening or with the Star Wars thing or just bad timing, but he's not a bad guy at all. I mean, he's the best with best intentions, and I don't know, I just feel really bad from every time I see stuff like that, especially from someone, as you just read, who didn't actually see the movie.
That was the worst part. They watched the wrap-up thing, like a breakdown online, which if you're watching one of those things online, of course it's gonna just trash the movie when it. Like a while back, I'm not going to point out the guy because it was ridiculous. The things that he was saying about Jurassic World was completely false. He missed all the accurate points and decided to report on his own version of the movie. And then a lot of people bought into it because he has a big following. So that's the problem, is people are spewing incorrect truths about the movie, and then people believe it, and then you get people in a breakdown reporting the wrong issue, and then people say that Colin Trevorrow hates women.
I know. And I just, since we're on this rant, I just got to say, everyone listening to this podcast knows this already, but I'm just going to say it so the universe hears. I follow the price tag, and there are so many people who literally send sympathy tweets to her saying, I'm sorry you had to run in heels because a man made you do that. There are so many tweets to her apologizing for Colin's mean, misogynistic thing. And I'm like, she chose that. Like, oh my gosh, it was her choice. And then again in the second one, she chose it yet again. Yeah. And people are still sending her tweets saying, I'm sorry you had to do it twice. And I'm like, oh my goodness, can't she have a say? Like, you're going all feministic kind of, but then you're silencing her voice by not even listening to it.
Yeah. So, and I literally just watched that video you posted about her saying, like, they wanted her to wear flats or ballet shoes, and she says, like, no, she's gonna wear heels. That's what we're doing here.
I totally post that today as a internal reaction to what I've been reading. But that, because she says it so much, so much, and
but nobody pays attention to that.
You know what's funny though? In interviews for Fallen Kingdom, like, I know the heel thing came out like after the press for Jurassic World, so she didn't really get to address it that much to the masses, just here and there when people were asking. But for Fallen Kingdom, like every question almost was bringing up the shoe thing, and she made it a point to say, like, they'd try to like lure her into not talk bad about Colin, but like kind of jokingly say, oh, you had to do that, ha ha, isn't it better now, kind of joke. And she's like knocks every one of them down. She's like, no, but seriously, it was my choice. Like, she says that to every single interviewer, and they're like, oh, like they're fishing for something, and she knocks every single one of them down, and it's really fun to watch her do that.
That's good. I'm glad that she doesn't, she wasn't forced into it, obviously, and it was her choice, and she makes it known, and I love that about her.
And no one's listening to her. Isn't that funny that they're putting down the man, but they're not listening to the woman? Isn't that interesting?
Yeah. Double standard, right? That, like I was talking about with him before. Everybody likes to preach on one end, but not pay attention to the other.
Oh, and another thing, since we're on this topic really quick, and this is all relevant.
Of course.
What's sad though is that Colin still feels the need to defend that, because I did that interview with him for my magazine, my new magazine that just came out.
Yeah.
And I know. And I didn't mention that at all specifically. I avoided any heel talk because I don't care. I don't care about it anymore. It's so done. Like, it's so stupid. I'm not even going to bring it up. And he actually brought it up, defending it. And I'm like, I was not even close to asking about that. Like, I forget exactly what the question was, but he actually brought it up himself as a means to defend it. So he's constantly on the defense mode on this now. It's like in his subconscious to just defend it anytime he talks about the character. And I was like, oh, you didn't really have to mention that. But that's kind of sad now, because that's always just his thing to defend it. I'm trying to figure out exactly where he said it. And I asked, it was in the last question. It was, what do you love most about Claire? Do you have a favorite scene or moment? And at the very end of his answer, he said how he actually mentioned the heels and stuff. And he says basically that was Bryce's choice and all this. And I'm like, but I didn't ask about that. Like, I asked you your favorite moment. Like, why are you defending something I didn't even ask about? It's just sad.
I remember reading that, and I thought something similar to that. I was like, that was interesting why he took that turn.
Yeah, that makes me think that he's just always on the defense about it, and he just expects people wanting to hear it, or he has a need to, I'm getting all psychology here, that he has a need to just constantly like defend that and put it out there every chance he gets that it was Bryce, it wasn't him.
Come on, Colin, you got to know who you're talking to when you give this interview,
I know.
Do your homework, Colin. What are you doing?
Yeah, because what is he doing? He's talking about Claire, and then he says, he just out of nowhere mentions the footwear, and then it was Bryce's choice out of nowhere.
Huh.
Yeah, weird. That makes me feel bad for him.
I know.
Because just
that and everything else we just talked about too. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I just love him. I just want to give him hugs. I made a point to tell him that I was very proud of him and I appreciate everything he does. At the premiere, I'm like, just ignore everything because the fans really appreciate you. Like, I just felt like I really had to tell him that we really appreciate him and there's no hate coming from us.
Yeah, and I know I read it last week in the new segment, The Jurassic Wire. Go listen to that; it was fun. We talked about fan toxicity and stuff like that, and I believe that was one of the things that we said. I don't know if I have. Oh, I don't have the notes here. It was in a different file, but basically there was a quote from him saying that he understands that the majority of the fans are good ones, and he doesn't really see a lot of that stuff, and he gets it. I think he understands the true voice of the fandom, I think.
Yeah, but I mean, he is human. I'm sure that a lot of the stuff hurts him as well.
Yeah, I don't think you can help that.
Yeah.
So let's.
Wow, what was the question?
I have no idea.
Did we answer it?
Maybe. I don't know. I think it was, what was your Ankylosaurus name?
Oh goodness, Louie.
Oh, ridiculous. Okay.
Where did we go
So,
from that?
unfortunately, we have a lot left, but I'm just going to cut it off at this last one. So, as I mentioned earlier, we got not way too many, but we got a ton that we just can't get to everybody. And everybody, the ones that we have left are actually slightly longer ones. So I don't want to have to keep you guys around here for another 2 hours or so. But I will play this one last MP3 that I actually got right after we recorded the May mailbag. And then I did not record it for the June mailbag because we were I'm sorry. I must have got it right after the June one. And then, because I didn't include it in July because we were talking all about Fallen Kingdom and it didn't really fit into that. But I will play it here. Where did I put that? Here. And it's coming.
Hi guys, this is Jurassic CC on Instagram. I collect all different Blu-rays, DVDs, VHSs, and all things Jurassic. I mailed you a few months ago and complained about the new steelbooks and the new Blu-ray covers that are about to come out. You know, the ones with the pointy head on the stego and plain-looking black steelbooks. Shortly after that, they revealed the JP 25th Anniversary Steelbook Collection, the 4K Collection box set, and the slip box. The one that you just showed on Instagram. Finally, we get some great editions to collect. I mean, the slip box you received and reviewed on Insta looks so great with the shimmering finish. Hopefully, we'll get some great collector's editions for Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. So, what do you guys think? Gotta say, I love these mailbox episodes. They're great. Thank you. Bye.
All right, so it's funny because I'm looking at Jurassic.cc. That's his Instagram page, so make sure to go follow him. But the last one he posted, which was like today, I think, or one day ago, was that exact DVD that he mentioned there that I was showing off a while back. Was the 4K Jurassic Park DVD box set with like the T-Rex roaring inside the visitor center, and it has like the nice like sepia like shimmery sparkly version. It's so awesome, such a great DVD case, and it has the 4K versions of the first 4 films, and. Me and Aaron last week in the Jurassic Wire, the new segment from the Jurassic Park Podcast, recorded a whole bunch of stuff about DVDs and the upcoming options for Fallen Kingdom, and just how absurd it all is that there's so many versions. Jen, did you actually pick up any of the 4K or any of the recent Jurassic DVDs?
No, I am looking at his Instagram right now and looking at exactly what you're explaining. Mm-hmm. But no, I don't have any of these. I don't really have any special editions. I don't really have the trilogy set. I don't have
have you seen
any of this stuff. I've noticed. I had the lunchbox from Jurassic World.
Oh, yeah. I never got that one. I wanted that, but
that's all I got.
Never got around to that one. And that, like I said with Aaron the other day, is like I got 2 different versions for Jurassic World, and I have this Jurassic Park, which also has Jurassic World. So I have 3 versions now. Yeah. And the 4K, I think I'll stop there, even though when Fallen Kingdom comes out, there's going to be another 5-box. Oh, that was wrong. That was wrong. I didn't say that right. 5-box disc set.
There you go. See,
the other one is not a box set that you want. Yeah. So I don't know. I'll have to pass on that option, and there's so many DVD options. I know me and you actually did a nice breakdown, like 3 years ago or whatever it was, of all the Jurassic options, and I feel like there's just always more and more options, and it's so confusing these days as to what you should be picking up and where you should go for special editions and all the bonus features and whatnot. It's just all confusing.
See, I think you just have to go with what you want, like pick a lane and stay in your lane, because my lane would be the bonus features. Like, I care if there are different bonus features. If it's just the same material and the cover art's different, that's not my thing. But some people want the cover art. That's their thing. So just, like, stay in your lane, because the lunchbox was really cool and different. And so I went with that. And I'm sure some people wanted the posters more than the lunchbox. So, I mean, not everyone's going to want everything. So just focus on what you want and kind of make a mental list of what kind of thing you're interested in, and then just look where that is. Because I guess in this new round here, in the Fallen Kingdom round, it would be the Target stuff, the Target Blu-ray 4K DVD pack, because that would have the most bonus features in it. I think there's like extra 30 minutes just on Target, and they did that last time as well. I have that. I have the Target steel round thing because of the bonus features. But so that would be my lane, would be the bonus features. So I'm going to go and get that Target thing. However, you might, because there's a steel book for Fallen Kingdom as well at Best Buy, and so you might be, I want that steel book cover, so you would ignore the bonus features and go there. So just think about what you want and what you like the best, and find where that is, I guess, so you don't get overwhelmed with everything.
I know, it's overwhelming, and I feel like all the options probably aren't even released at this point, because one of my favorite options last time around was from Barnes & Noble, and what was that? I think
those were the posters.
Yeah, no, that was a poster, but I think it was even just, you could just buy a DVD copy, which I think we gave away. So maybe I don't have that copy, but I have the posters, and crazily enough, that poster ended up in Fallen Kingdom, one of the posters. So who knows? Like, I'm going to keep my eye out, see what's coming from them, because I have no idea. So, because like, you just don't know what exclusives are coming,
I didn't get the posters. I went with the steel book, the steel thing, and the lunchbox. But there was like, what? There's Barnes & Noble, there's Walmart, there's Best Buy, and there's Target are usually the four that have something special. So yeah, we don't know. We don't really know what Walmart doesn't really have an exclusive announced yet.
No, I think it's just. Are they the ones with the keychain?
Oh,
it's like Funko Pop keychains or something.
Oh, they
like
should
that.
do better than that.
I know, and they're tiny, and it's like, I don't know, you don't really need this.
Because they did the lunch boxes last time. That was my favorite one, was those lunch boxes. So that was a Walmart exclusive. And then so Target, Best Buy didn't have an exclusive last time, did they?
Best Buy, I think they just did like the tins or whatever they were, the steel books or something. I don't know.
Target did the tins, but with the extra 30-minute bonus material as well, which is, I think, what they're doing this round. They're doing the same kind of thing, same cover and all of that, but with the extra disc. So I'm going to go for that. And then, I don't know, Walmart's going to have to do better than keychains if they want to sell me something.
Ugh. I'm looking at Barnes & Noble. I don't really see any like perks, I guess, for buying.
Yeah.
But
that'll probably come out.
Yeah, hopefully something, because I think it was like a last second choice for me, and I was like, oh man, I guess I should go there and try to get these things, because I want to try to get any kind of exclusive artwork or something like that. That was one of the better ones, I think. Even though last time there was a lot. I got that one with the statues, like. So that was fantastic, and I don't think we haven't seen anything on that scale. So maybe Indoraptor statue or something. Who knows?
Well, after this third one here, they're gonna have a 6-set box. That's gonna be huge.
I know, and will I, like, by that time in another 3 years? Who knows what format we're going to be. We're going to be like 8K or something, and it's going to be like 4K looks like garbage now. So it's like, I just got a 4K player. I don't know.
I don't even have a Blu-ray.
I don't have one now, but by the time 3 years rolls around, I'll be like, I just got this thing. And now you're going to phase it out.
Blu-ray at that point. Like, I don't even have a smart TV.
I don't even have a VHS anymore. No, wait. No,
I
don't have a smart TV either.
No. Well, we have like a TV that I think is supposed to be a smart TV. We're just not smart enough to know how to use it, so it operates as like a regular
It said that
TV.
on the box. Must be smart to use. Yeah.
I don't know. But I have VHSs. I have a record player.
I have one of those. I got one of those. Yeah, we're going backwards in time, but yeah, we need to move into the current age. So I don't know.
too
I'm
hard.
not into collecting all the. I know some people like to have like every option. It's just too expensive, you know. It gets very expensive.
That's why I say find your lane. Like, if you don't, it'll help you from getting overwhelmed if you just really figure out what you want. Some people want one of everything. So, okay, that's their lane. Just think of one, just make a list of one of everything. Some people are overwhelmed with the giant list and they're like, I don't want one of everything. I just am focused on this. Well, then just make your list of just those things, because it can be overwhelming. But if you just think of what you really are looking for and then find it in that sense, it would be a lot less overwhelming.
Yeah, and make sure to go check out Jurassic.cc on Instagram. There's some good stuff on there. I post a lot of content all the time, so I like it. I follow it all the time.
Yeah, actually, I'm going to follow this now because they do really good job here.
Yeah, like
really cool.
Great pictures of all kinds of merchandise and different stuff. Like nice pictures all around. But
the egg popcorn bucket. Oh, there's like sirens. I don't know. There's like that egg popcorn bucket, which is really cool that I want.
Oh, yeah. I like that. Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff. So this episode has been a mishmash of all kinds of things. Off the rails for a lot of it, I think. Probably one of the more recent, like, off the rails episodes. Usually we've been pretty good recently, but this one was all over the place.
So this will be your highest rated episode because that's what the public wants. They want off the rails.
And apparently,
they want me eating different foods.
Apparently, people listened to our last episode, which was 3 hours long. So, kudos to you guys. Good, bravo for making it through. And apparently, you're here. I don't know.
No,
we can't even finish the mailbag this week.
What if you get hate mail saying, "Hey, I wanted an extra hour and you cheated me. You had more material and you didn't give it to me." Like, what if you get hate mail?
Then we'll have to have 2 mailbags a month. I don't know.
They're going to be like, hey, I like my 3-hour-long mailbags. Don't be cutting it.
I'm going to run out of storage space pretty soon. I'm not going to be able to post all these episodes.
You're going to have to like get another host and like mailbag, or just for the mailbag.
Just for the mailbag. It's its own podcast every week, 6 times a week. We just take Sundays off. That's it.
That's it. That's just to like sleep.
Yep. It's our day of rest. So, Jen, thank you very much for sitting with me through this stuff. I know you've got a lot going on recently, so tell everybody what they can find over on the BDH network.
We got a lot going on over here, which is so exciting. You can first off enter your contest to win a signed Evolution of Claire book. I have 5 to give away, and Bryce personally signed them and Tess personally signed them, so that's really awesome. Both of those sets of hands have touched these books.
Plus,
so you
too. You should sign it. You gonna sign it for him?
No one wants me. So, but those 2 have touched and signed both of those books, and they came personally from Bryce, so they're personally from her. And I have 5 of those to give away, so I'm doing a thing of you have 3 chances. You can go on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Facebook, just share the post. Twitter, retweet it. And Instagram, hit enter under the comment. Just find the post and do all that, and directions are all up on there. I have signed Funkos as well that are going to go, but not yet after this contest. That ends on August 27th, by the way. Then the signed Funkos will come on in September. Also, I just launched, I interviewed Colin, and I launched a digital magazine that's going to release quarterly, which is going to be Bryce focused, her fans focused. If you want to write an article, whatever, I'm still figuring it out. Hopefully Bryce will be doing stuff for it as well, for exclusives. So I did a Colin interview. That's up there now as well. So we have the magazine, we have the giveaways, and our website is brycedhoward.com, Twitter, BDH Network. I don't remember what else is going on. I'm doing caps. The caps hopefully will be released tomorrow. I'm almost done with them. So much stuff going on over here. I've been so busy.
Seriously,
it's cool stuff.
That's stuff. A lot of stuff going on.
It is a lot of stuff. How am I doing on this? But it's good. It's working out.
Well, that's good. That's good to hear.
Is my house on fire? Like what?
I don't know. You should check.
Sirens?
It's a good time to cut off the podcast, huh?
I mean, they're going past me, so they're not stopping. That's always good.
Well, that's good. Well, why don't we say goodbye to the mailbag for the month of August? Thank you, everybody. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much. And I'm sorry to those we didn't get to this month. we'll either do something else sometime soon, or I'll do a bonus episode. I don't know, something. We'll get to you. Don't worry.
Yeah, maybe even tack them on next month and see how much we get. I don't know.
Oh, man.
We'll figure it out.
I don't know. We'll have to carve out an entire day to record.
That's fine. I have no life anyway outside of this kind of thing.
That's it. Just the mailbag is it.
It really, that and PDH Network, I have nothing else like going on ever. I don't watch TV. This is why I don't watch TV.
Get it? Well, you need to be smarter to watch smart TV. So
well, there you go. That explains everything.
Read more? I don't know. What do you need to do to be smart? Nobody told me.
I don't know.
Who knows?
I don't know.
Thanks for listening, everybody. See you later.
Bye.
Make sure to visit JurassicParkPodcast.com to find all of our past episodes, brand new news articles, information on how to contact us, and much more. It's a great source for everything related to the podcast, and of course Jurassic Park and Jurassic World. Head to JurassicParkPodcast.com and help us build a great community.
Anybody hear that?
Thanks for listening to the 162nd episode of the Jurassic Park Podcast. Thank you so much to Tom for sending over the audio for the Innovation Center this week. Tom, I am super jealous that you got to meet Sam Neill. That is absolutely incredible. I know you debated it for quite a while, but I'm sure you're glad you got to meet him in the end. Also, a big thanks to Jen for joining me for the August Jurassic Mailbag. This is crazy. It's already August, and I know we had an absolute blast recording together. I hope you enjoyed it just as much as we did. Don't forget to start calling in for the next Jurassic Mailbag. Make sure to leave them 3 minutes long. That's it, guys. Leave one voicemail, 3 minutes long. Call our voicemail line at 732-825-7763. Send us a voice memo to our email, JurassicParkPod@gmail.com, and message us over on our contact form at JurassicParkPodcast.com. If you want to interact with us, we do most of our work over on Twitter at Jurassic Park Pod. We're also on Facebook at Facebook.com/Jurassic Park Podcast. And our Instagram handle is at Jurassic Park Podcast. You can listen to us via Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, YouTube, our website, or wherever else podcasts are found. So make sure to subscribe to automatically get new episodes every week. If you haven't already, please give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. It will seriously help out our rankings and make it easier for Jurassic fans like you to find us. Don't forget to check out JurassicParkPodcast.com to find everything you heard here today. If you want to get a hold of us, you can email us with any news stories, MP3s, comments, or if you want to debut a segment of your own, send them to JurassicParkPod@gmail.com. Or you could submit questions directly on our website contact form. If you'd like to record something for the show, send it in to us and we'll feature it in an upcoming episode. If you don't have any way to record, you can give our voicemail line a call and leave us a message. That number is 732-825-7763. Thanks for listening and enjoy.
No, I'm simply saying that life finds a way.
You will remember to wash your hands before you eat anything.
Five minutes. Drop what you're doing and leave now.